Charlie Kirk case is making everybody in America go insane. While the country processes the horrific events of last Wednesday, there is one thing on the right's mind, and that is retribution for what they see as the left's cultural hegemony and disturbing absolution of political violence.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done.
As for the left, they've been steeling themselves for a tidal wave of finger-pointing and a free speech face-off, skirting, at least in my opinion, most responsibility for fostering the environment that could spark someone to carry out the act that silenced Kirk last week. I'm Carlo Versano, and this is how the fallout from Charlie Kirk's death continues to rattle this country this week from the White House. Almost immediately after Kirk's assassination, the president quick to blame Democrats, and Democrats alone.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals.
Now, by now, we should know that Donald Trump will take any opportunity to condemn his critics and publicly shame anyone he deems an enemy. This time, though, he is threatening some real-world consequences.
My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity.
The New York Times scooping a White House plan to identify and punish groups on the left that allegedly engage or at least support political violence. Trump's top policy advisor, Stephen Miller, vowing to destroy this ill-defined network.
With God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
On Monday, Vice President J.D. Vance hosting Kirk's podcast and using it as a platform to send a clear warning to critics.
So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer.
Attorney General Pam Bondi then going on to say that she's prepared to come down on hate speech.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Which, as really any college student who's taken a con law class knows, that is protected by the First Amendment, except in very limited cases.
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech.
At the same time, the DOJ deleting a study from its website that found right-wing attacks, quote, outpace those coming from the left. All this posturing from top Republicans, the people who, let's remember, actually control the levers of power in this country right now, is of course raising concerns not just among Democrats, but also free speech absolutists who, once upon a time at least, made up a good chunk of the American right.
And the question that should be asked is, has the president brought the rhetoric down?
Now, Democrats have issued warnings on the chilling effect that a speech crackdown could have on the First Amendment and how the right's finger-pointing further stokes divisions. Senator Chris Murphy warning, quote, something dark is coming. Notably, 2 days before Kirk was gunned down, Murphy said,
we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
This kind of inflammatory rhetoric really not helpful no matter where it's coming from right now. Then the hammer came down on Wednesday night. ABC saying it was yanking Jimmy Kimmel off the air for these comments that he made on Monday.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them.
Again, not particularly helpful, and in this case, actually wrong. Even on Monday, there were signs the Kirk suspect had left-leaning politics, and that was all but confirmed in the charging documents released this week. ABC's decision to indefinitely suspend their late-night host comes after an affiliate backlash that self-sparked from Trump's FCC chief Brendan Carr, who essentially jawboned ABC into action.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct and take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
Those comments from Carr appear to be what caused a number of ABC stations owned by a company called Nexstar that happens to have a merger in front of the FCC right now to say that they would drop Kimmel on their own local airwaves.
When you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible.
So let's be clear about what's happening here, right? Trump is using the Kirk assassination as a pretext to clamp down on speech that he doesn't like. If you're an American, these attempts to stifle speech should concern you, just as they should have when it was Joe Biden and his administration urging social media companies to deplatform and censor speech about COVID and the 2020 elections that Democrats took issue with. Look, we're in some uncharted waters here, right? We are heading towards a place that a lot of us feared was coming in the aftermath of that shot when it rang out in Utah last week.